Kia ora, welcome to your 20-minute rebuild. We are focusing on core today. I'm Sam and I've got Katie here joining us. When you're ready, coming down onto the mat. Remembering that there is a playlist in the comments below, so you can click on that link, play some music and get into the groove. We're gonna start lying down on our backs. So placing the soles of your feet down on the mat and just gently rolling yourself all the way down. Letting your shoulders, your back, everything just relax down into the mat here. Placing your hands on the bottom of your rib cage here, your fingertips touch together. We're going to just focus on some breathing to begin with. So as you inhale, really breathing down into that lower belly, separating those fingertips. And as we exhale, breathing all the way out, bringing those fingertips together. We go again, inhaling nice and deeply into that belly. And all the way out. One more big breath here. And out. Placing the palms of your hands down onto the mat, just down by your hips here. Making sure that your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Keeping nice space between your earlobes and those shoulders. From here, we're just going to start with a slight pelvic tilt just to get those muscles in the front all warmed up. So when you're ready, tucking that tailbone slightly, tilting your pelvis towards you. And then we go the other way here. Just flowing through gently. Not pressing too hard into the soles of your feet here. We want to keep our legs nice and relaxed, really focusing on that movement coming through our pelvis. You may want to move with your breath here. So as we tilt away, taking an inhale. And as we tilt towards us, exhaling that air out. Don't worry if that doesn't feel natural for you to breathe like that. You can just keep breathing as we move here. We'll go for one more each way. Finding a position in between here. We're going to be floating our legs up to tabletop, so shifting that weight into that left heel to begin with, floating that right leg up here, holding, floating that left leg up. If this is too much for your core right now, you can place both feet down and move from this position. From here, we're going to be tapping our right toes down towards the mat and then lifting them up. We go with the left. So lowering down nice and controlled. That's it. Remembering just to move with your range. So that may be all the way down to the mat, or you might just be floating them down halfway and then back. That's it. Keeping that breath moving here. Thinking about keeping the bottom of our ribs here tucked towards our hips, so really stabilizing through that lower core. Nice and controlled, all the way down, all the way up. This might be enough challenge for you now. If you want to add a little bit further here, we start to stretch those toes long as we lower down, straightening that leg, lifting back up. Pointing those toes towards the wall or whatever's towards away from you. Remembering that if this gets too much on that core at any stage, you can bring those toes down and we can move from here. So the same moves, either tapping those toes down, so floating them up, we tap and lift, or adding on that stretch. Reaching nice and long. That's it, keeping those lower ribs knitted close to those hips. We're going to go for one more on each side here, making sure we're nice and balanced. So if you need to do a couple more, then let's do that. Holding both legs at the top here, giving them a gentle hug towards your chest, maybe a little rock side to side. All right, placing our feet back down onto the mat here. Interlacing our fingers behind our heads, nice and gently to support the weight of our heads here. We're going to come into a light curl to begin with, and then we'll add on those layers. So when you're ready, lifting up, taking your eyes to gaze over top of your knees, curling up, crinkling the top of our t-shirts here, and then lowering down. If you want to add on that breath, we exhale as we lift, inhale as we lower. Curling up. Seeing if we can go a little bit higher each time. Keeping our lower ribs nice and knitted, stabilizing that lower core. So we're just moving through the top of our backs here. That's it. Starting to add on here, the next time we curl up, can we take our fingertips away from our heads, reaching them long towards the wall in front of us, placing them back behind our head as we curl down. That's it, remembering to breathe. We reach up, fingertips nice and long, lengthening those arms. We come back down. And again, I want you to think about moving with nice control here. So consciously curling up, crinkling that t-shirt, reaching long, and slowly lowering ourselves down. That's it. Adding on again here, as we reach up, can we float our right leg up to tabletop? Hold for a moment. Float everything back down to reset. We go with the left. Lifting up, floating our left leg to tabletop. That's it. And back down. So alternating here. Curling up a little bit higher each time. Reaching long. We've got one more layer to add on here to add a little bit more challenge. Remembering that if it gets too much, you can take a step back, hug your knees to chest, and then come back in. This time as we curl up, we're going to float both legs up to tabletop. So really drawing in through that core, reaching long, floating everything down to reset. That's it, we go again. Reaching long. And down, remembering to breathe. We've got two more like this. Floating up and down. Beautiful control. Last one here, reaching up, we're holding, tucking those ribs in, really wrapping those abdominal muscles towards that belly button. We're holding here for 3, 2, 1, curling all the way back down. Releasing those hands, hugging those knees to your chest, giving them a gentle rock side to side. If you prefer, you can place those feet back down, coming into that windscreen wiper stretch, just releasing out those abdominals a little bit, loosening up those hips. All right, we're going to roll onto our right side here. Coming up onto that forearm. So you want to place your right arm down so that your shoulder is nicely positioned over top of that elbow and our palm is flat on the mat here. Shuffling your hips back slightly so that they are in line with your shoulders, and then finding a position with your legs that are comfortable for you. So it might be that your feet are shifted back towards the mat more, the edge of your mat or tucking them up a little bit forward. We want to feel nice and supported. From here, we're going to roll our top hip away. Feel that lift your underside here. So we want to lift our right ribs up away from the mat. So maybe imagine you've got a big ball of barbed wire here. So we want to stay lifted. We don't want to sink down and spike ourselves. Then opening that chest up nice and wide to the front. From here, your top hand can either come onto your hip, reach up to the ceiling, or stay down on the mat to be nice and supported. We're going to be lifting that top hip up towards the ceiling, coming into a mini side plank, and then lowering all the way back down. We go again, lifting up, really lengthening through the crown of our head here. That's it, lower down. So just lifting as high as you can while keeping that top hip rolling away from you here. We go again, lifting up and down. That's it. You'll feel a little bit of squeeze coming through those glutes to help us stay lifted and supported. To add on a little bit more challenge here, can we just tap our hip down, or maybe we hover it off the mat when we lower and then lift. So we're staying in this shape here. We've got 5 more. Rolling that top hip away, keeping that distance from that barbed wire ball. That's it. We're here for 3, 2, 1. We're going to lift and hold here. We're only here for 5 seconds. Roll that top hip away. Reach those fingertips up here for the last 3. That's it. 2 and 1. Coming all the way back down. Reaching our right fingertips long here. Just coming down, placing that head onto your arm and taking a moment. Take 3 big breaths here, and then we're going to come into that one more time. So just take this moment to let those abdominals relax a little bit before we get them working again. One last big breath in and out. We set up. So coming back up, replacing that hand down. This time, if you want to add a little bit more challenge on, you can straighten that top leg out. We're going to go through the same moves. We're just going to add on an extra lever here. So again, rolling that top hip away from you, lifting the underside of our ribs, not touching that spiky barbed wire ball. When we're ready, pressing up, lifting that top hip up, we drop it down. Lifting up and down. That's it. Maybe this time you add on that reach, fingertips up to the ceiling. Lifting a little bit higher each time here. Making sure we're breathing through. That's it. Maybe you want to take out that tap of that hip down. We stay lifted. Hovering up, squeezing at the top. We're here for 5 more seconds, and then we're coming into that beautiful hold. That's it. Last 3, 2, and 1. Lifting all the way up, holding, sending that top hip away from us, lifting a little bit higher through that underside. We're here for 3, last 2, and 1, coming all the way back down. Finding that beautiful Z sit here, we'll just do a quick little mermaid. If this is uncomfortable, we can cross our legs over. Just going to place our right hand down, reach those left fingertips over, and then come back the other way. Feel that nice stretch through those right obliques. We come back to the left. And one more time to the right. Coming to center, we're going to swing our legs that way and come back down onto our left side. So placing that left forearm down on the mat here, setting that shoulder up over top of our elbow. Bending our knees, aligning ourselves, making sure we've got a nice long line there, and then finding a place where those legs are nice and comfortable. We're going to start stacked on top of each other to begin with. So rolling that top hip away from us here, lifting it through that underside, remembering that big ball of spiky soreness. And when we're ready, we're going to lift up towards the ceiling and drop all the way down. That's it. So reaching up and down. That's it. Use your breath to lift. Exhaling out. Inhaling to lower. There we go. Squeezing those glutes at the top. Going to help us get a little bit higher. Come into that underside a little bit more. Maybe we want to take out that hip drop. As we lower, we hover off the ground, lifting straight back up. Beautiful. We've got 5 more seconds here. And we're coming into that hold. Keep that breath flowing. Keep rolling that top hip away. Finding that hold in 2 and 1. Lifting up. Feeling underneath here. We've got that space. We lift a little bit higher. Maybe those fingertips come up. Last 3, 2, 1, rolling all the way back down. Extending that left arm long, placing our head down here, just letting ourselves relax into the mat for a moment. Taking a big breath. All the way out. 1 more. And then when you're ready, coming back up. We go through that 1 more time. This time with that option to extend that top leg long, adding on a little bit more challenge here. So we roll that hip away, lift those ribs up. When we're ready, lifting up, finding that side plank, coming back down. That's it. So we're tapping all the way to the ground for these first few. Maybe we move through this whole set here with those fingertips nice and long. Remembering if you need a break at all, you can take a moment, find that side line, take a couple breaths, and then join us when you're ready. All right, adding on that hover now. Can we lower down without tapping that hip all the way down? That's it. Really pressing down through that left forearm, lifting up through that shoulder. Beautiful. We've got 5 more seconds coming into our final hold. Lifting up nice and high. That's it. Last 3, 2, 1. Lifting up, pressing down through that left arm. Can we lift a little bit higher? Roll that top hip away. Opening that chest out to the side. Breathing through here. For 3. Last 2. That's it. And 1. Coming all the way back down. Finding that Z sit again, or crossing those legs in front of you, whatever is more comfortable. And we'll give ourselves a bit of a side stretch. So placing that left hand down, reach those right fingertips over. Taking a big breath, we go the other way. So just reaching as far as it feels good for you, sinking into your mobility over to the left. Reaching long. And back to the other side. Feel those left obliques stretching out nicely. That's it. We're going to come into one final move here, rolling on to our 4-point kneeling position. So your shoulders are going to come over top of those wrists here, hips stacked on top of those knees. I want you to really press down through the palms of your hands here, lifting that chest up away from the floor. Maybe you have a slight stretch through that top of your back. And if it feels nice, tucking that tailbone slightly. So just playing around with that pelvic tilt here to find a position that works well for you. From here, we're going to shift our weight into our left foot here. extend those right toes long behind us. So drawing a nice big line with those. Thinking about what our hips are doing here, making sure we're not rolling backwards or dropping them down towards the ground. We're just holding a nice long line. That's it, bringing that knee back in line with the other. We go again, extending long. And down. Thinking about drawing that belly up slightly. So using that tuck to really lift our underside up away from the mat. We'll go for 2 more moving here, and then we'll come into that final hold. Last one, holding nice and long. Lifting up away from that mat, pointing that toe a little bit more. We're here for 3, 2, last one, lowering that leg down. Coming into that left side now, so shifting that weight over to the right. When we're ready, extending our left toes long, drawing a nice big line, taking this moment here to set those hips, making sure we're not dropping down or lifting up. Nice and level, creating a nice support for that core and for that back. And then lowering down, bringing it in line. We go again, reach those toes nice and long, pointing them, and drop. Pressing evenly through our palms, making sure our nose and our body is in that midline, so we're not sinking over to the right too much. Good work, we're here for 3 more. Reach those toes long. Last 2. Last one, reaching and hold, pressing down through those palms, lifting up away from that mat. That's it. Extend those toes a little bit longer, feeling that core working. We're breathing here for 3, holding for 2. Last one, placing that leg back down, sinking back to child's pose for a moment here. Taking 1 big breath. We're going to come forward into a gentle upward dog here. So shifting that weight forward slightly, dropping those hips towards the ground, starting to look up, drawing those shoulders down away from our ears. Maybe you want to take a quick swivel over the left and over the right, stretching out those core muscles. 1 more here. And pressing back. That is our 20 minutes of core done for the day. Let us know what you liked and what you would like to see more of in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video.